Hey everyone, you've landed on the Swing Trade Pros website here. My name is Mr. Know-It-All. I've been an active swing trader for over 7 years. I want to welcome you guys all to the community here. My goal is to change 1 million people's lives with swing trading and trading profitably. This is a skill set you can learn here with the service. Go check out the testimonials in Discord. You can see lots of folks talking about the service and how the trade calls are super profitable. You can check Profit Gains channel. I think we've amassed around $150,000 worth of profits in the last year posted in the Profits Gains channel just from other users and traders in the community. I'd like all of you guys to check out the 14-day free trial. A coupon code will be pinned in the comment section below this video, so check it out. And we'll take you through 14-day free trial process here. You come down to the website, save 44%, and claim your 14-day free trial. Click on that. And that will take you to the Swing Trade Pros website where you can click sign up now. And after your 14-day free trial is up, on the 15th day, you will get billed, full disclosure of that. And I appreciate you guys all joining the community. It will change your lives. Give it a chance. A lot of these swing trades can take months. One of our biggest trades of the year last year was INJ. We took an entry at $1.60, and well, that asset's trading over $35 today. So that was one of the banger trades that I pointed out. My strongest pattern that I trade that I'm known for is the falling wedge. I call it the falling node wedge pattern. Lots of divergence on these charts. And that's what makes these patterns really play out. And you guys are going to be able to really learn that in the service. And I really hope you enjoy it. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys on the charts.
All right, welcome back, folks. Back at you with a live stream here. Tether coming in with a nice rip out here towards the close. Continuing to make higher lows here on Tether chart. Can see on the daily here that average sentiment oscillator is still ticked up here on the daily chart. Looks like some more consolidation, downside price action here over the course maybe of another few days, weeks, could be a month. We'll continue to monitor this. It just, Bitcoin needs to get closures above 62K. That is the level that we're looking at. That is the daily 200-day moving average. I think if we're going to continue to reject these 60,000 levels, we're probably going to resolve back down, 56K to 55K region on the futures chart here. We can see that is the level that we're looking at. That is the daily 200-day moving average on the futures chart. Now, Friday, we put in a bullish engulfing candle. We're still proceeding to make higher lows here, but we're also, continuing to make lower highs. So we've been in this, consolidation structure, this down, I would say it's a downtrend with lower highs and lower lows. And we're in the middle of a range or slightly below the middle of the range. So unfortunately, we're not going to really see any real resolve on this until we decide on a direction. And right now, the direction is chopping sideways / down until we have a breakthrough candle or a reversal candle, or we end up breaking the bottom part of the range. So until then, we're kind of just stuck in the middle of a range. That's kind of what's happening. Are we expecting a major crash or correction continuation here? It's possible. The weekly is still, unfortunately, bullish here for Tether. We're looking at, a print. I mean, you can call this a bullish engulfing candle because it's engulfing last week's candle ever so slightly. Did we make higher highs on the price of Tether? We have not. 6.77% was the wick high from that low. However, we are still, technically we are making a higher low on the tether chart. We are still seeing what I am trying to say is we are still seeing accumulation on the tether chart. So that is not good for the Bitcoin price, or really any of the prices for crypto. One thing that I do see is that we did have a Bollinger Band deviation here on the weekly time frame last week, and this week we did see some like ranging in here. We did see some altcoins start to pop off from their range lows. It's a mixed bag right now. Fear and greed is probably still in fear, if I had to guess. We're going to get a print here in like a minute of the new fear and greed index. And so, but we really haven't really seen too much of a change, right? So it's not something that I don't think is going to change all that much here. In fact, we're actually printing a 28. So the market is still in fear, which it kind of leads me to believe that we're probably eventually going to see some push up, because usually when the markets are in fear, that's kind of when they decide they want to push markets higher, push the price. Unfortunately, our weekly on Bitcoin here isn't really giving us any real edge on the futures market. Futures chart here, you can see that we're continuing to build this negative momentum. The MACD is still kind of pointing down. We are in the bullish control zone. We're above the zero line. However, we don't really have any real edge on this chart. The daily is maybe trying to resolve itself here. The daily is in the bearish control zone. We might be, I wouldn't even really say that this is bullish divergence. It's more of just convergence happening on the chart. We did have a bit of bullish divergence start to form. We did get this candle on Friday to come up to this trend line here, but we can still kind of see this is still within the bounds of this range. Okay, and so unfortunately, I was hoping to see going into the close actually that they were going to start to break these levels on Tether, but that didn't happen. So we kind of have to see how this continues out. I believe that our signals are still long on the 2-week time frame. Yeah. So we're still long on Tether here on the 2-week. All right. And I believe the weekly is also still long. It's been long here since May. And we're still within the bounds of this channel. This channel is trending to the upside. Again, though, like early sell signal on the weekly, early sell signal on the 2-week, but the 2-week probably still has room to go up. Our RSI just kind of confirmed into the bullish control zone on the 2-week chart. The weekly is, teetering, or I would say is in the bullish RSI territory. But it does look like there is a bit of divergence here on the weekly time frame. That doesn't necessarily mean it needs to play out. Okay, like roughly the same high on the relative strength with, we did print a higher high on price the previous week. So we'll see how this plays out. Technically, like I just said, Tether did just print a higher candle body close, ever so slightly going into the close there. Let's take a look at futures for S&P. S&P futures are up 0.11%, so negligible amounts. We did come back into this channel after this big drawdown. So I would say that the equities markets actually look okay, unless we just start pivoting and reversing right here, which I don't believe we're going to do that, especially since we just got a weekly buy signal, and the S&P, I think, is going to probably trade back up to the range high. NASDAQ futures, much of the same, hammering off the 100 period, getting follow through last week, and coming up to this level right here where we initiated the start of the selling. So it is really important and pivotal for the NASDAQ and the S&P to make a higher high on price if we want to see crypto eventually rally. The dollar index, let's take a look at it. We got a clear breakdown here on the dollar. This 102 region is really like the low that we're really looking at right now for the dollar. We broke below this major support, this double line support. It's really difficult to be bullish on the dollar index. I would actually be in the camp of the dollar continuing its drawdown here, which is interesting. Interesting that Bitcoin is not catching any bids whilst that's happening. But we'll see how this ends up playing out. It does look like on the monthly time frame that Tether has some room to go higher. The monthly RSI is actually crossing into bullish control zone here with a cross above the signal line. But we have about 12 days or 13 days left of this month to really see potentially a rejection here. That is obviously what bulls are hoping for. And we're going to see how this ends up playing out. If we end up getting one more retest of the range low around 55K, that wouldn't really shock me. So that's kind of what's happening here. And the weekly here, like I just kind of pointed out to you, is we've consistently rejected the $60,000 to $62,000 region. We do have these wicks here that could come back down and get tested around 56 to 55K region on the weekly time frame. And it's looking like we're going to probably end up doing that if Tether continues to push higher. All right. So I just look at this as like, well, you're going to get some more opportunities at buying into this market as the price continues to come off for the longer term. So for the shorter term, price action could dictate to the downside further based upon this. And we'll see how this ends up playing out. If Tether just gets, extremely bullish, well, we could end up being, seeing if we end up starting to make candle closures below that 55K level and we take out that daily 200-day moving average and it's now acting as a resistance, well, we can continue down. Like you have to be aware of that. That is definitely something that could potentially happen. We have a real big demand line here around 54 to 55K, I would say is like the region right now that we're kind of stuck in between. If we end up taking out this low here from August, we can definitely be plotting, 47,000 to 40,000 on Bitcoin if it really starts taking out these levels. All right, that's like the long and short of what I'm looking at here. Altcoins, I don't really see how they're going to perform if Bitcoin's not performing. Although we are entering potentially into potentially, it just depends if Bitcoin stays stable up here, that these altcoins can really start to gain against Bitcoin because a lot of them are so oversold and a lot of them are really in value areas. Bitcoin dominance, getting a 2-day short, 2-day counter trend short signal here could initiate some buying pressure to the altcoin market if Bitcoin doesn't just start crashing right now, right? So that's the thing. Others.d is everything but the top 10 coins. And we can see we're at like a major level here, major support line that's been respected since 2017. Okay. We can take a look at ETH BTC. ETH BTC is, it just really looks not so good just yet on this. The monthly is not really giving me any inclination to believe that this is going to go up just yet. So the only thing that we did get here on the weekly is we got a weekly range deviation. And every single time we do get those weekly range deviations, we could see some potential upside against Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin's going to come down versus dollars, that just means that Bitcoin's going to go down versus dollars. And ETH might also go down, but maybe not as hard as Bitcoin, right? So tough to be really that bullish right now, at this very moment. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. It's kind of just a lull period that we're experiencing here in this market. And the end of summer for crypto, usually the summer months are not really the best. If you even look back, in the 2020 run here, you can see like June, July, August, it was like, yeah, it was trending up, but we weren't really doing too much in the market. And so we're at like a different stage because like we already like got a massive rip going into the summer. So it makes sense that maybe we just continue to consolidate for some time here. Okay, maybe for another month. I'm thinking maybe another month or two where this can consolidate. So just more opportunities on the board here to continue your accumulation for the rest of this bull market. And that's kind of where I'm standing right now. I mean, it's can't really be hyper bullish with the price action. You got to be kind of like, I guess, mid to short term bearish here on what's happening on this chart because we're continuing to make lower highs. And we haven't made a lower low since the low we put in. But if we end up taking out that low, I mean, that's not a bullish thing. That's a bearish thing, right? And so that's something to be aware of. We haven't done that just yet. And we may not end up doing it. It just, we've seen a 30% drawdown so far and on total. And Bitcoin itself has seen a 33% drawdown. So really, it's still kind of a normal thing to see for Bitcoin, like 33% drawdown. What did we see like last cycle? This was a 20% drawdown. Let's go to the chart with all the data here. We go to regular candles, we can see. So once we end up breaking all-time highs, there wasn't really too much drawdowns. You had this one 20%. You had this drawdown here. This was a 30% drawdown. And then we had this, when we made the first top, we had about wow, this was a pretty big drawdown. This was a 51% drawdown. And then in the 2017 cycle, which when we started this bull run, okay, it really started here once we broke the all-time high. We first initially had about a 34% drawdown, and then we continued to see about the same 34 to 38% drawdowns all the way up. Okay, we're basically there. We did a 33 to 30, what did I say, 30 something percent drawdown so far. So yeah, 33%. Okay. Maybe we sweep these lows again. All right. And the weekly here is just still bearish, right? We got this weekly cross, and this hasn't really started showing us signs of the bears losing control just yet. So there's your answer. The bears are in control of this market right now, and it's going to be a grind, man. It's going to be a grind. That's really it. There's not really too much else to talk about aside from we're in grind mode. We might see more downside here. 56K might be tested. We might come back down to retest this range low again. And these are the levels. So once we start making closures below 50K or 49K or whatever, we have a big fib level here on 38 and then 32K. I don't know that we're going to get there, but anything's possible in these markets, and you shouldn't be ignoring the facts that anything can happen. Okay, anything can happen here. We can clearly see that this is our long-term trend line, and we ended up breaking this channel. We overshot it. We back tested it. We attempted to rally off of it. We failed. We just came back into the structure now, and so it's very possible that we end up coming, back into this channel around 49K again. And retesting this long-term channel before we really might get our leg up. That's it. Unfortunately, I don't have super good news with the way this candle just closed today. I mean, that was clearly a back test, and we rejected it again. And nothing burger candle on the weekly. It looks like maybe a bearish consolidation after this leg down. And so we'll see how this plays out. But I'm not expecting major movements right now until maybe the Fed pivots or we have more liquidity that comes into these markets. And let's take a look at that, actually. So this is the M2 Global Liquidity Index. We can see that global liquidity is in a breakout right now. Clear breakout. And this is the weekly time frame. We can go to the monthly. And monthly, you can clearly see we broke the top of that line chart. And yeah, I mean, you can't really be bearish like the global liquidity index because, well, look at it. The chart is telling you this is probably going to continue higher. They're going to continue to print money. And we all know what happens after they do that. So we have some room to run on a global liquidity index. And this could take some time to play out. Y'all are very quiet in the chat tonight. We do have some altcoins making some moves, man. Like Super Rare has been on quite a move. I don't know if you guys have been looking at this, but look at that monthly candle. Look at that volume. Look at that range break on the monthly chart. And this is like an NFT platform, I think. So maybe they're gearing up for something here. Look at that monthly squeeze too. That just broke. That looks pretty juicy, man. All right, yeah, Pixel. Let's take a look at it. I see you, dude. I see that wick coming in on the monthly chart. The weekly, yeah, not really catching bids yet. Not really catching bids just yet. You know, still in that downtrend. Maybe some more consolidation to be had on this. Very methodically going down. You're at the 618. You could get, you know, a short-term reversal or test of the trend line. But I ultimately think value areas are down at 786 and 886 for this type of asset. Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. To the squeeze, like I said, we could see some short-term upside on it. It's going to be tough for it to rally with the whole market not really doing much. And you don't really want to buy something like this until it breaks its structure. Okay. Yeah, starting to make higher lows, but understand this. Got to take out 23 cents. Got to make a higher high. Got to hold it as support. Got to consolidate and then start making higher highs and higher lows to come out of this trend. All right. And if you don't do that and you get overbought, make a lower high, you're just going to go lower. All right. Don't get trapped. Wait for like a weekly hammer candle or a weekly reversal candle on stuff like this. Can you start dollar cost averaging into positions? I'm not going to tell you shouldn't do that, but maybe you should wait. Maybe you should wait for something like this. Yeah, your 3-day RSI is pretty low down here at 31. It's starting to become lower risk for sure. So, yeah, I mean, you can start, man. I'm not saying you shouldn't start if this is something you really believe in this coin right here. I don't really know too much about it, but you really want to see a break. You really want to see a break of trend, and you really want to break the channel. All right, you haven't done that. Maybe you're going to do that. Keep an eye on it. Watch these levels, and that's it. One that really looked good to me was Synapse Protocol. See how this broke the channel with volume? That's confirmation. All right, that's a confirmation of a breakout. And this right here, you know, you shouldn't buy it right now. You should probably wait until it draws back down to that, 40 or 50 cent region, make a higher low after this breakout, and then you can get into a trade on something like that to manage your risk. You see the difference, IJ Money? Like the asset broke the structure with volume. Like that's what you want to see. You want to see breaks with volume confirming that these are real breakouts, not just fake breakouts to trap traders, right? And so that's what you really need to be looking out for. Anything else that isn't really showing you that or hasn't shown you that, you should probably just kind of wait for it. Like there's no reason why you shouldn't. You can just wait, just sit patiently, wait for the asset to show you something that it hasn't done before in a while, and then take action. And then you can manage your risk, right? And it's really easy for, like, let's just say this does, come back down. I mean, the hope is it comes back down, right? Because it may not, right? Maybe there's something happening with this coin that nobody knows about. I mean, look at your weekly. Your weekly is telling you some things that this could really just start to really build up momentum, right? It really can. But yeah, this is a really, really nice structure. I think we have more data on this coin. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Double bottom, came down to the range low. It's already appreciated about 80% off its low. Man, huge value area. It did 100% retracement. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. Avalanche. Yeah, we can take a look at Avalanche. Avalanche looks like it might have some more downside. It might tag like 16, maybe 18 bucks potentially. Again, no real signs of reversal just yet. Yeah, your RSI is down here. It is diverging a bit down here. It's showing some early signs of potential movements here, but it's continuing to reject 22 bucks, 21.50s. You're going to have to wait to see how this plays out, but it's very possible for it to come down to tag the major support again at 17 bucks. If Bitcoin's going to be rolling over, these altcoins are probably going to roll over. And that's the gist of it. I'm not saying that long term this is a bad place to buy Avalanche, because it's not. It's only like what, doubled up from its low, and it's drawn down like a significant amount from this high. It's down 73% from that range high. It's coming into value areas for sure, definitely. All right, but why not wait for like that hammer? Why not wait for that monthly candle close? That's a bullish engulfing. It's okay if you don't get the exact bottom, guys. Like, it's really going to be difficult to do that. Your whole goal as a trader is to trade momentum. All right. Ooh, Moon Girl's watching me. So, yeah, just wait for confirmations on these assets and manage your risk that way. All right. Do you have any other assets you guys want to look at? She's everywhere. Yes, she's everywhere. Kusama, what is this doing down here? Sitting at a range low, having trouble popping back above this range. It tried to this week, I think. It just back tested 1750 as resistance, and yeah, this doesn't really look that great. We can start to see some compression happening on the chart, though. And yeah, it can stage a recovery at some point. Your weekly is starting to cross back up. We really want to start to see closures back above this major level, this $18 region. And maybe then we can then see a continuation for this asset. So like, that's the thing. Like, you really just need to pay attention and watch to see how these assets react at these levels. INJ also, rejecting, 20 bucks here. I suspect this asset can come back down to $9 or $10 potentially. That's what it's looking like it wants to do. So, still within the bounds of the channel. You don't want to be long the channel until you break the channel. I'm in a spot position from like $1.60, so I'm not really too worried about what this thing's doing here in the short term. And it's gonna take its course. It's gonna do whatever it's gonna do here. Maybe at some point it'll reverse its trend, or maybe it won't. Maybe it'll just continue down. We'll have to see how these levels play. But when the whole market does start to reverse, Dogecoin, Dogecoin. I don't even think I can chart it anymore. Doge. Actually, I can. I think this is it. Here's Dogecoin. We'll take a look at NVTS for you, Flap. Sure. Dogecoin is, it's pretty wrecked. Pretty wrecked. We're at the range, or pretty close to the range lows on it. You could argue there might be some divergence on that RSI, but not really too popular of a meme coin right now. It is still within the bounds of this channel. I should DCA. Till we bought this shit in like 2019 or something, put like a G into it. It's all good. I should DCA. No, I don't think we should put any more capital into this one. NVTS, let's take a look at it. Oof, man. This looks absolutely not so good, sir. Breaking a critical level of support there, and that doesn't look very good, brother. Yeah. Maybe an inverted hammer candle. I think you'd like to see this reclaim, 367. I wouldn't try to buy it, even if the price is low down here. You don't know that this is going to, reverse here either. I don't know that the fundamentals happening with this coin. Or stock rather, not coin. But the trend is your friend until this trend ends, man. Flap. You want to see this at least come back into the range, this 370 range here. Right. That doesn't really look that good. Maybe there's some argument for maybe a deep Gartley or deep crab pattern on this, but like, man, you could be drawing down to like 184. There's nothing here. There's no support here, right? Yeah, I'd be careful with something like this, man. Solana, sure, we can take a look at Solana. Range bound between 130 and 180 in the middle of the range, towards the bottom middle of the range right here. And yeah, that's really it for this one. Once you start making closures below 130s, you could probably expect to see as low as $80, man, maybe. You do have some local supports here, but if the markets really start to sell off, and Solana is pretty extended, man, I would have to say that this, even on the monthly here, just looks like that's coming down. You're breaking the monthly signal line. Yeah, I would probably err on the side of caution for Solana here. Wouldn't shock me if they brought this back down to $80 or even $76, that region there, if the markets continue to sell off. But for now, you're just ping pong between these two fib levels, all right? The buyers are really trying to hold this level, really hold this range. Okay, you can clearly see. Look how many times you've tested this: 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and you've yet to produce a higher high. All right, so to me, this looks like a bit of distribution until it's not distribution and it's accumulation, and they end up taking out the high. So until you take out that high, it's really difficult to be that bullish on this asset. because there's no real implication that they are going to take it higher, especially on the monthly time frame. Doesn't really look the best, right? So keep that in mind. Looks like we're going to see some more, downside price action here for a bit. It seems like that way. Markets aren't really going to do too much until like a Fed pivot or some major news comes in for risk assets. And Tether putting in a 4-hour bullish engulfing candle and starting to show you, more accumulation down here, right? This to me looks like this wants to go higher. Looks like it wants to go higher. All right. It's like we're teetering, man. Like we're teetering at a pretty critical zones in this market, and it just looks like it wants to continue rolling over. Really, it just looks like that. Like even total, you can look at the chart. It just looks kind of meek right now. Like bleh. Lower high, lower high, lower high. Needs to get needs to capture some momentum somehow. Your 2 week is starting to show you signs that maybe that's coming on the total stochastic RSI here, but this could take some months to start ticking back up, right? Because we're combating the 2 week is now combating the monthly and the 2 month. The 2 month here is very close to crossing down. That's not necessarily bullish to see if we do that. We haven't crossed down just yet, so we might have some more time to see some upside. But the window is closing quickly if we end up getting a cross down. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see a cross down right now. But I can't really control any of this stuff. Just got to monitor what's happening on these charts. That's it. The only good thing I see on the total chart is that average sentiment oscillator has a cross the bullish side of things. But this candle right here, man, this candle right here, this one right here, this big wick, high wick candle, projection candle, we're seeing the follow through on it, right? We're seeing the follow through downside on the market. It's tough to really, unless we start taking closures above 2.7 trillion, we're really going to see a breakout anytime soon. Yeah, difficult situation. What else you guys got? We got 5 people still tuned in. See how it's crude. Crude looks pretty bearish. Like, check this candle out right here. This candle right here is a dragonfly doji, not reversal, but like, man, that you can see that they tried to push the price up and the sellers were like, we ain't let you pass. And now we're seeing follow through to the downside on oil here. We're still in the bounds of this structure, but you know, oil not being able to produce higher highs. And you're at the range low here. Yeah, that candle right there on the 3-day is a nasty reversal candle right there. You could easily see oil trade back down to the 73s, or maybe even lower if we end up breaking this pennant structure, this bearish pennant that we're in. Oil doesn't really look bullish. It looks kind of bearish. Yeah, monthly pointing down, your MACD telling you some things here, starting to produce that negative momentum. You might end up crossing into bearish control zone on the monthly time frame. You even have bearish divergence on your momentum oscillators here. I think oil is going to drop, man. 66 might be your range low that you look to go test from the June 23 levels. If you start to break down, you can look at XLM, sure. GC, what is that? Gold. Gold in a breakout, man. Gold in a breakout. Gold looks good. You know, you might get a check back here after this breakout, but man, you can see the coiling happening on the gold chart here. Very, very parabolic type of movement might be coming for gold. Yep. So gold gonna run. Maybe Bitcoin runs after gold. We'll see how that works out. Urus, you really want to look at Urus? We can look at it. We'll look at XLM first. XLM is kind of like a, yeah, I don't know, man. You're at range lows here from the 2023 bear market lows. This asset has really done not much. Yeesh. Monthly bearish divergence on the chart here. I mean, yeah, you might be bouncing off this range low here. You could start to capture some bids off this range low. I mean, they're trying, man. Look, they tried to wick it up here. Not really catching any bids, man. Yeah, I checked total and total 2 out. Can look at, oh, I don't know if I look at total 2. We can look at total 2. Total 2 might still have some more downside, man. We could end up back testing this breakout entirely, which is 660 bill. That would be about another 27% drawdown on the altcoins. Yeah, your 2-week momentum has been lost. What we're really wanting to see is the 2-week momentum start to round out, so then we can produce bullish divergence. And yeah, I'm thinking that this is going to be what we retest here, this 640 region here on total 2. Doesn't really look that good. We already came down to test this low. We wicked off of it. Yeah, it just all depends on how this monthly candle closes, man. If they wick this all the way back up to a trill, then man, that's hammerish stuff, and you can't really be bearish if it does that. But right now, we're not seeing enough buying pressure come in to change what's been going on in this market since about March or April here. We'll see. We're still holding this range low. We have a clear demand line there. We also have a clear supply line up there. Could be a descending broadening formation in development. We could be doing something like this. We make one more low, and then we break out. But, you know, that could take us into Q4. Take us into Q4. A couple more months of just chopping, maybe one, you know, these short-term moves up to make lower highs and maybe make one more low to make even more bull div type of thing. Your monthly, though, doesn't really look good at all, man. This looks really bad, right? Lower high on price. I mean, I guess it's not really bearish divergence. We didn't make a higher high or anything, but just looks weak. Looks very weak. Clear rejection of the midline on the upsloping channel here. We could even come back down to bear market low, man, like 500 bill. That wouldn't really shock me if Bitcoin comes down. But that is your clear range level here that you ended up breaking above. I think that you're probably going to tag this 650 level at some point. We'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong and we just start reversing prices right here because this is a level 2. Right? This is a region. Sorry I don't have any other good news for you guys, but really just got to pay attention to the levels and watch the macro and pay attention to what's happening with interest rates and the global liquidity index. Like I think we're in the thick of this this correction. And I think we're almost through it. Maybe another month or two of this. That's it. Bruce. I don't really have any much data on this coin. Pretty wrecked. Maybe some sort of wedge potential setup here. Don't really want to be owning this asset below $7. That's the region right there, like even $5 rather. Start reclaiming $5 and we could potentially see you know, $10 or something on this thing. MACD bearish control zone. So far regarding 58.3 as support. Kind of a stalemate right here between bulls and bears. This is very interesting price action, very boring price action. Yep, just sideways stuff until a range low breaks or a range high breaks, just sideways. And that's it. I mean, we can look at the VIX. Volatility index is way down. Look at that massive rejection candle. This tells me that the VIX is coming way down. That means the stock market's probably going higher. That means eventually crypto should follow that. Eventually, crypto should follow that. All right, folks. Well, that about concludes the session for tonight. I know nothing burger session. No real clear indication or inclination as to what the direction is. It looks like we're going to see more downside, but we'll see how these levels hold. If they end up holding up, then, well, we know what ends up proceeding after that. $62,000 closure is above. We're looking towards the top of the range, which is like that $66,000 to $70,000 region. If we start taking the lows out, 55K and below, we're looking at range lows, 50K, 49K levels. And if we start really making closures below that, we can talk about, 38K levels. We're not there yet. We're just still sitting in this range, guys. So there's no point in speculating as to how low this is going to go or how high this is going to go. It just watch the levels, watch momentum. Price action dictates a lot of this stuff. All right. Thank you so much. We'll catch you guys in the next video or next stream. And if you guys do have any other assets you guys want me to plot or look at or do some content on, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. And we'll catch you guys next time. All right. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. Have a great week.